If you love time-saving tips to use in your crafting, you're going to love today's video. I'm going to share with you how to create a lot of sentiment tags at one time in a short period of time, how to store them and have them on hand to use on your card projects. Let's take a look. Here I have my Stamparatus. Now the stamps you can see are already mounted. Don't worry too much about those right now. We will use those in a few minutes. But what I want to share with you is how you can mount several stamps to the Stamparatus and stamp several greetings at one time to create multiple sentiment tags. So I am using a stamp set called Go To Greetings. This has really nice basic stamps. I'll be using it several times here. Here you can see what comes in it. Some really basic greetings in several sizes and several different fonts. So what I've done, I've mounted these and I've used my grid line in the background as a template. I'm centering each one in 1 inch of space. So this one's at the top inch, 2nd inch, 3rd inch, 4th inch. And I am going to rotate my plate over here to pick this up. Because I'm using rubber stamps, I'm going to remove my mat. I do not need that for right now. I'll bring in some paper and let's do a little bit of stamping. Now, if I wanted to, I could continue these all the way down, but I am just going to do these 4 for right now. We'll ink this up with some crumb cake ink and stamp. Now I have these very close to my hinges and sometimes it doesn't want to stamp right there by my hinges. That turned out pretty well. I do have several tip videos on what to do if it doesn't stamp there close to your hinges, but that went well. Now if I want to, because I only have 4, I can actually lift this plate out and move it down. And look what we can do. Let's stamp one more time. And we get several of these. Now, we will come back to this. We will do some more stamping and I'll show you some really cool tricks. We're gonna step this up a little bit. This is just the beginning. But what can we do with this right here? This one down here didn't stamp because it had gone off the edge of the platform the second time. So I'm not worried about that one. But I'll bring my trimmer in and first trim off the excess here. And now I'm going to trim into 1 inch increments so I can line it up with 1 inch over here. Cut that, push it over to 1 inch again. Now keep in mind on the spacing, if I wanted these tags to be smaller, if I wanted less blank space, I just need to plan the width of my strips to accommodate that. And I'll show you here in a second how I'm going to do some that have 1/2 inch spacing. If you like really small tags, keep watching. I will be sharing that here in just a minute. But I will stop with those, but you can see how I can keep cutting those and have several tags created and ready to go in my tag box. Let me show you my tag box real quickly. I love this and I've gotten tons of feedback. A lot of you love this as well. This is a fishing tackle box. I get asked where I got it. It is FLW Outdoors brand and I found it in my garage, so I totally claimed it for my craft room. And it has removable dividers, so I can change how big each of these spots is. And I've sorted my tags into different occasions. So I have thank you, thinking of you, with love, congratulations, babies, weddings, that kind of stuff, birthday, we have friendship somewhere, just because, hello, just because, good luck. So I love this tag box when I'm making cards and I don't have a lot of extra time and I need a sentiment, pull it out, grab a tag that matches. I like to do these in a lot of different colors, have them on hand, and it really saves time when I'm making cards. So now let's get back to the Stamparatus. Let's take this a step further. You may be asking, well, what if I just want a bunch of the same greeting? If you're mass producing cards, you're making maybe a lot of Christmas cards or a lot of cards for some other occasion. Here's an idea for that. What we can do is take off. We'll take off all the ones except for one. And let's say you don't like all that extra space around the edges of the tags because some of them were wider than the others. Here's an idea for how you can tailor them to a little bit more of what you want. Bring a piece of cardstock in here, and I'm going to ink this stamp at the top that says, "Thinking of you." So we'll stamp once. And then we can just move down one step at a time, ink, stamp, and move down and create several of the same one. And then we can cut those apart. Now, if you prefer to punch your greetings out in a lot of cases, you can, well, I'm going to share a tip for that here in just a second. So keep watching. Now, so here's a way to get lots of the same ones. Next tip, let's do some with some closer spacing. And this was kind of fun. I had not done this before, but I knew that I could. So I've mounted, these are the stamps I've already mounted onto the back side of my plate. One of the things I love about the Stamparatus is that we have 2 plates to work with. And we can remove the plates. So we have 4 sides that we can mount stamps to, have them all ready for multi-step stamping projects and for things like this. So I'll bring in another piece of cardstock here. Let's ink up these stamps. Some of these are from that go-to greeting set. Some of them are from this nice Inspired Thoughts set. Now, I had thought about mixing and matching some from a different set, and then I realized they were the clear stamps, photopolymer ones, and we can't mix and match because when we have rubber stamps on, we have to remove that mat, the Stampin' Mat here. For photopolymer, I have to have that mat in place. So if you're doing this, you either have to have all red rubber or all photopolymer stamps, your choice which one. So let's ink these up, and you may be looking at this like, well, those aren't going to have very close of spacing, but when we get done, they will. So want to make sure I get them inked all the way to the edge here. I'll stamp one time, give it a nice good press over here by the hinges. And I am going to put, here's what I do when I have something that doesn't want to stamp over here by the edge. One of the things I do is to add some extra cardstock underneath. A lot of times that solves the problem. There's a few other tips I share, but typically this solves it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, there's a couple different ways you can do this, but here is a pretty simple idea, is to move your cardstock down 1/2 inch. And let's see if I put my magnet there, if it will be out of the way. We'll try this. Okay, so I moved it down 1/2 inch. Let's ink it again, or maybe we want to switch colors now. I'll just do this one to save a minute and not have to clean my stamps. Now the top one is going to go off my paper. That one will not be usable. If you have trouble stamping near the edges, just mount your stamps out a little bit farther, and that will help with that. So look, now we have all of these. I can trim off this edge if I want to, get a little closer with my trimmer, and then just go through every 1/2 inch of my trimmer, trim those apart, and have lots of greetings this way. So this is a fun way to use it as well. Now, imagine the possibilities. I'm not going to set this up and show you, but I want you to dream about the possibilities. So what if you have a row of stamps here, a row of stamps here, a row of stamps here. You could probably get 3 rows of sentiment stamps on here if you wanted to, if there's some smaller or shorter ones. And stamp a whole piece of paper, cut them into strips, cut the smaller pieces into strips, and have tons and tons of tags. You can make up so many tags in just a few minutes with this. And one more before we're done. So I also have some stamps, you can't see them until now, mounted up here to my top plate. These are from a set called Charming Sentiments. I shared a tutorial a while back for this dice. This stamp set actually has a coordinating die set that cuts each of these out and makes it look like they were fussy cut. A lot of the sentiments in my tag box right now are actually from this set, and they look like I cut them out, but I didn't. It's from a die set. So I have mounted these up here, but my intention with this is to actually punch these. So this time, we are going to be punching these out, and I'll show you how to plan for that. So because these are photopolymer, I need to bring my mat in, and we'll just check our spacing. So what I did when I laid my stamps out on here before I mounted them to the plate, and I just checked my spacing to see if they would coordinate correctly with this punch that I want to use to punch all of them out. This is called the Label Me Fancy Punch. And let's go ahead and stamp, and then you'll see here in just a second how these come out. So I'm going to use, we'll use a new color of ink. We'll use some Flirty Flamingo, get some pink tags added to the box. Rotate this down. This time up here at the top is where it may not stamp perfectly by those hinges. So I'll give it a nice good press, lift up. I think I want to re-stamp these, which I can do after I'm done making the video, so anyway, because it's on the Stamparatus, I can re-stamp. This one didn't get stamped. It's a little bit faded, but, I can't redo it after the video if I punch them out, can I? So change of plans. Let's do it right now. It'll only take a minute anyway. And, okay, now I can remove this from the base. And let's bring in that punch I showed you. I will need to trim my excess off. So if you're doing a lot of this, you can plan out the width of your paper so that it will work well with your punching. And take a look at this. I just punch, move down, punch, move down, punch. You'll see here some of these I mounted sideways, so the tags will actually go this way because that's the way the sentiments fit into the tag the best. And in just a couple of minutes, I have quite a few. So you could stamp this once with brown ink, once with gray, do a few with black, do some blue, do some yellow, do all different colors. Go through and punch these out, and you could have that done, honestly, in, I don't even know, 15 minutes or something, like no time at all. So I hope these tips help you, and I hope that you can find some kind of tag box to organize your sentiment stamps. Now that I have these done, I can put them in here. Here's my good luck box. Here is my congratulations for the super mega fantastic news. Just for you, that's pretty basic. That goes in just because faith over fear. Thinking of you, babies are a blessing, and I can sort these and have them on hand and ready. Thanks so much for watching along. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell, that way you'll get notifications when I share new videos. Please like and comment on this video. That helps other stampers find it as well. If you're interested in these products, there are links below. You can order through me, and I always send a personal thank you from me to you. And I think that's it. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.